All right, let's talk Texas A&M Aggies football. This is a program coming off, obviously, a very disappointing season after getting the number one recruiting class before the 2022 season. I know a lot of A&M fans were expecting huge things last season. Obviously, winning the Orange Bowl a couple of years ago, it looked like this program was on the rise. Last season was a little dip, but Jimbo Fisher and company did recalibrate this offseason. They made a couple really smart moves, and they're not done. They made, I think, another really smart decision run by Jimbo Fisher and this whole football program that I think will be huge as we head into the 2023 season. But before I get into that, Aggie fans, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Like I said before, last season, a little bit of a disappointment. Give me one rematch game, another chance at another opponent that you're looking forward to in 2023 when you expect the Aggies, and frankly, I expect the Aggies to be a whole lot better. I don't think they're going to be a team that's struggling again next season. I think they're winning 8-9 games. It's a brutal SEC West, there's no doubt about it, but I think this Aggie team will be a lot better. And with that in mind, let me know what rematch game you're looking forward to the most, and let me know what game in the comment section below. All right, so obviously Texas A&M had to make a lot of key moves this offseason, mainly at the coaching staff level, right? Because the way Jimbo Fisher was running his offense, a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation he was doing too complicated. We were seeing the product on the field. A lot of young guys, the changes at quarterback, it just wasn't flowing right. They had a lot of talent. They should have scored more points. So Jimbo Fisher corrected somewhat. He brought in Bobby Petrino, who, despite his personal issues aside and some of the other issues he's had in his career, is an outstanding offensive mind and offensive coordinator. And he wasn't done recalibrating with Petrino. And here I've got a report coming up here. This is from Gig'em 24/7 as part of 24/7 Sports. Said this: Texas A&M football coach Jimbo Fisher has reshuffled his offensive coaching staff again. Fisher has moved Damian Craig from quarterbacks coach to wide receivers coach and James Coley from receivers coach to tight ends coach. So for those of you who aren't familiar, those are two big demotions, right? Tight ends coach is basically the lowest level position coach on the entire offensive side of the football. So it's usually like O-line, it's quarterback here, O-line, and you kind of got receivers, running backs are kind of small, like specialty things, and then tight ends is underneath O-line, right? It's not a big deal at all. So again, big demotions there. The Aggies hiring Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach last month prompted these moves. Okay, so there was rumors that Petrino would be the quarterbacks coach either directly or indirectly, but now it's basically official. He will be the quarterbacks coach. Craig served as a receivers coach at A&M for 4 seasons before switching to quarterbacks last fall. Coley spent 2 seasons coaching tight ends before transitioning to receivers last fall. So again, it just didn't work out the first year on the job there. So reading more from the report, A&M has yet to announce that Petrino, Craig, and Coley will now coach quarterbacks, receivers, and tight ends respectively. But all 3 coaches are already recruiting high school players at those specific positions. Petrino has communicated with multiple quarterback recruits. He played a major role in landing a verbal commitment from A.J. Maddox, a 2024 quarterback from Oak Grove High in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He's a good one. Looks pretty good on film earlier this month. So that's a good commitment from Petrino and company there. All right, so why is this a smart move? So for people that aren't too familiar, and look, I played football in college, small school. So again, back up at a small school. So I'm nothing special. So I'm not trying to humble brag here or anything like that. But the reality is the offensive coordinator has to be the quarterback's coach, right? I've seen it a few times when I was in my college career. We had an offensive coordinator that was that had come up from the offensive line side. It just didn't work out because he didn't speak quarterback, right? He had a different way of communicating, different way of handling things, a different way of calling plays and adjusting to the quarterback's strength, and it just didn't work out. Whereas later in my career, we had a quarterback's coach get promoted to offensive coordinator who also stayed the quarterback's coach, and just like that, the offense took off. Why? Just because he understood how the quarterback worked. We had the same quarterbacks, by the way. It's basically the same personnel. Just the quarterbacks came in and just were so much better right out the gate. And just because those quarterbacks coach understands what his guys are good and not good at, right? He puts them in positions to be successful, and he's able to do that because he's with them in individual drills. And again, for those who aren't familiar, individual drills are the part of practices where it's just the position coach and the players. So at that situation, right, the quarterbacks coach can be there with the quarterback when they're working on routes and footwork and things like that and say, oh gosh, this guy doesn't have the right step to, footwork to do a good 7-step drop and throw to the far hash. We're not going to do that. And if he's the offensive coordinator, he's like, okay, I'm never going to call that play because it's putting him in a bad position. But if your offensive coordinator is not your quarterback's coach, he doesn't know that. He's not focused on that. So he may call that play 5 times a game and wonder why the heck it's never complete and gets intercepted a couple times, even though it should work on paper. So it's one of those things. It's having that deep relationship with the quarterback, and that really matters. And that's why I think Jimbo and company did a really smart move here by making sure Petrino would be the quarterback's coach. Because I think when your offensive coordinator is separate, it doesn't work out at all. Like, I know it from personally, and when we've seen it a lot of times, frankly, last year we saw it, the promotion from wide receivers coach to offensive coordinator. I mean, look, that's the proof in the pudding is right there, A&M fans. It did not work. And the fact that Jimbo Fisher recognizes that, and Petrino, first of all, is willing to do that. Some of these former head coaches, they do not want to come in and be position coaches anymore, right? they sit there and says, I'm above that. I've been a head coach before. I want to have some other grunt do the individual drills. I just want to focus on calling the plays. The fact that Petrino doesn't want to do that and is willing to recruit is a great sign for A&M because he's a heck of a recruiter and a heck of a position coach. And number two is the fact that coaches that have come back and have been willing to do that, looking at Steve Sarkisian, looking at Lane Kiffin, have been extremely successful in recent memory. So the fact that Petrino has come back and wants to take on those roles is a great sign for A&M going forward, both in the recruiting game and more importantly on the field on Saturdays. I think this latest development from A&M will have a huge impact as we head into spring ball, summer practice, 2023 season. And if I'm an Aggies fan, I tell you what, next season, 2023, it's going to look 180-degree difference. You're going to be blown away with how productive they're going to be on offense, especially at the quarterback position because of a move like this.